Yo, what is going on? Shut up, Jeremy.
You could edit it.
I was about to have like decent intro. Okay. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Jordan Andrew. Stop cutting me off. This is the Massholes with Mike's podcast. This is episode 2. I'm Jordan Lee Andrew, joined by Jacqueline Galvin and Jeremy Guerin, who both conveniently decided to interrupt me in the middle of my intro twice. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, I don't know what else to say besides I am
good. I am Groot.
I was gonna try and say I am Groot. I was gonna try and say something about my day, but then I was like, people don't care, so why would I inform them?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
We care, Jacqueline. Tell us about your day.
Okay. So I went.
All right, just to move on real quick.
We only have an hour.
We do only have an hour. Let's talk about some sports.
Well, we gotta know how Jeremy's doing. Obviously.
Oh yeah, Jeremy, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm in the middle of a 4-day weekend after working 9 times in 10 days, so I'm living the dream right now, which basically means I can sleep past 4:45 in the morning.
Proud.
Oh, I'll still be awake, regardless. But
it's my birthday weekend, so whoop whoop.
It's also my little brother's, so you can obviously tell which one I care about more.
Mine.
Obviously, that's obviously it.
Yeah. Well, technically, mine's on Tuesday, so it's not.
Is it not a weekend? The weekend before?
Yeah, it's the weekend before, so it's my birthday weekend. My birthday's usually on Memorial Day, so it's strange that this year it's not.
That is weird.
Or over the weekend on Memorial Day.
Right.
Sometimes it's the weekend.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay.
Enough about my birthday. Let's talk about some sports.
Smoke break.
All right.
All right. Yeah, we will start with the Boston Bruins, who had their little inter-squad scrimmage tonight in front of the TD Garden crowd ahead of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. They now have an opponent, though, the St. Louis Blues, to Jeremy's dismay.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, Jeremy, how do you feel about that?
Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Now, okay, so let me just get off my little diatribe on the Sharks now. Holy crap! How could you not go to the final? You had it all set up. You had two gift calls that sent you to the third round. And yeah, you capitalized on the chances, but even as a Shark supporter, I can see that they were gift calls. You didn't deserve to be there, yet you still got there. Now, you get this gift call in Game 3 to go up 2-1 on friggin' St. Louis, a team that you should blow out of the water because you have more top-end talent, more goal scoring, and as sad as this is to say, probably a comparable goaltender because Martin Jones did not play as bad as I thought he would. And you choked. You absolutely choked. So good. San Jose, you have great weather all year round, so it's not like you're going to see any difference when you're golfing. But now Carlson could be gone. You traded a first-round pick for Evander Kane, of all people, who I absolutely detest. So that was the one silver lining, the Sharks not making the Cup Final. I didn't have to see Evander Kane compete for anything important. But Carlson could be gone. You don't have a first-round pick for the next 2 years, I believe. Martin Jones, you still don't know what you're going to do with him. Pete DeBoer is not a great head coach, and Joe Thornton might retire. Pavelski might be gone too. This is just an absolute crapshoot, and I'm going to save my swears for the. I don't know. I'll figure out a way to work one in, but it's not
not for the
not worth wasting one on the Sharks. Let's put it that way.
It ain't worth it because your team is still in the playoffs. Your number one team,
yes,
is still fighting for the Stanley Cup Final.
Of interest, and now I can just say. I hate this on Gloria now.
No,
and St. Louis, by the way. What a massive freaking gimmick these people are.
I love it.
Go
I think
back
it's
to your
hilarious.
silly cousins that you probably marry over there in St. Louis. Arch so far up your ass, you're going to be showing it out your teeth. I am so done with the city of St. Louis, their fan base, and the freaking St. Louis Blues. What have they done? Jordan
beat the Sharks beat the Sharks
That's the number one. God, that song's in my head, and it is so annoying. I can't wait for this Blues team to crash and burn. Come on, Bones, please.
Don't jinx it now. Don't do it.
As someone who doesn't follow hockey really at all and really only watches the Bruins, are the Blues good?
Well, I mean,
they're obviously good. But
after the new year, one of 3 teams to even make the playoffs after being last in the point standings past January 1st, and they fought each other. They got into like an all-out brawl in training camp. Does that tell you what you need to know about
are they like, do they have any like big name players, or is this just like a ragtag group of people?
Yeah, they had big name players, but as of about 2 weeks before the trade deadline, those guys were about to get dealt. Vladimir Tarasenko is their best player, and there were talks that the Bruins might trade for him at the deadline.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were talking about dealing some of their top guns, and then they won like 12 straight games out of nowhere and put them. And their division's absolutely crap anyway.
No. You got Nashville and Winnipeg. Winnipeg was like the Cup favorite going into the year, along with the Sharks. They were tied atop the odds, and Nashville was President's Trophy winners from 2 years ago.
Yeah, but Nashville, I mean, for some reason, Nashville never seems to make it move for me. I don't know.
Because once again, they got a gimmick franchise because of all the Stone Arena. So you see, there's a common theme here.
Well, okay, hold on real quick before
sports cities, St. Louis, Nashville, just go away. Seriously. Oh my word. Now, it's not saying that San Jose was some major sports town, but like at least they were all in on a team. St. Louis fans probably woke up one day and said, "Wait, the Blues are in the West Final? Wow, maybe we better go support them instead of watching the Cardinals for no apparent reason because they blow."
Well, when I said their division sucks, I wasn't necessarily talking about those top two teams. I was talking about the rest of the division because they were in third after that 12-game win streak. I'm pretty sure. Which I know, like you get 24 straight points, and obviously it's going to do wonders for you. But they were like convincingly in that third spot after that win streak was over. So like that speaks a lot about the division they were in. I mean, or maybe just the time that they got hot. But they did get hot at the right time in the playoffs, and somehow, some way, they find themselves in the Stanley Cup Final. It's kind of like the Carolina Hurricanes making the East Final. But I do think St. Louis is better than them. I feel like this series will be This series will be comparable to, I think, the Jackets one. That seems to make the most sense to me. Like, I think that St. Louis will steal one in Boston in the first two games. I really do.
All right, let's put it this way. I wanted San Jose because, I'm a sucker for any shade of blue. Notice all my second favorite teams are either blue or purple. But
and you go to Emerson, and that's purple.
Yeah, Dodgers, Vikings are purple, Sharks are aqua, and Grizzlies because he's a blue too. Anyway, St. Louis is the easier team. It's easier to beat than San Jose. Now, the way to beat them is different because San Jose will stretch the ice much like Toronto, but what they can't do is defend. There were so many wide open chances for St. Louis at the end of that series, and St. Louis has some monsters on the back end. I think none of their defensemen are shorter than 6 feet, and you got the likes of Torrey Krug and Matt Grzelcyk trying to match up against them at some point. And
Connor Clifton's not big in either.
Those guys are monsters, and I'm a little bit scared of them. But like you said, it's a lot like the Jackets. It's a lot of ground and pound, hit your heart out at this point, and it's going to be, as Tony Mass said, a freaking war down in the trenches. And that suits the Bruins somewhat, but the more physical it gets, I think that it would honestly favor the Blues.
Yeah, I think that the Blues will take one of the first two games of the series. I think just the Bruins layover. I know they scrimmaged tonight, but I mean, how intense was that scrimmage exactly?
Why they were scrimmaging? Just practice. How hard was that? Seriously, I know that there's a difference between game feel and non-game feel, but do you really want your players taking injuries at this point? I don't know why Chara played in this thing at all. He shouldn't be even touching the ice. Bergeron, neither should you. The entire top line shouldn't be out there. Krejci shouldn't be out there either. Probably Backus. Those are the veterans that should not even see the ice tonight, and they all did, I'm assuming. But
yeah, as long as nobody got hurt, though. I mean, I know Marchand did leave the game at one point and was kind of nursing his arm, but David Pastrnak seems to think that Marchand was just kind of playing with the crowd, which is kind of a douchey thing to do. We're all sitting there, anyone that was there watching it is just saying, don't kill each other, stay healthy. And then you see Marchand nursing his left arm, and then he's all of a sudden he's fine, and he was playing with you. That's just kind of a mean thing to do.
Side effect of crispiness, Jordan. You're very brittle. You can crack easily.
Yeah,
clearly what happened with Marchand's arm.
Obviously, but anyway, back to the Bruins, and like you said, I was kind of shocked to see guys like Chara playing. I mean, maybe not Krejci or Backus, but I was shocked to see Chara playing, considering he didn't even play Game 4 against Carolina. Maybe that was just because of the fact they were up 3-0 and didn't see Carolina as worthy of having their top defenseman playing in the game, which apparently it wasn't because John Moore actually went in there and he might have looked better than Chara did at any point in that series, if we're being 100% honest. But it doesn't necessarily matter. Obviously, the Bruins are in the Cup final. I don't expect to see John Moore at all in this series unless somebody gets hurt.
God, I hope not. God, I hope not.
I know people were talking about Kevin Miller possibly coming back, but at this point, why bother with him? Connor Clifton's been
got a shattered kneecap.
What?
He's got a shattered kneecap.
Yeah, no, people were saying he could come back in the series.
Oh, no, don't even try.
I wouldn't try at all, and I think his Bruins career might be effectively done after this year. They're going to try and move on from Kevin Miller.
I like Kevin Miller.
I like Kevin Miller too, but I think Connor Clifton might just be better than him at this point. He's like a better version of Kevin Miller.
I don't even want to think about Connor. I still don't like him for some reason. Actually, I know I don't like him. It doesn't wow me. Kevin Miller made some plays, especially against Ottawa, which I will forever remember for being just a series where he absolutely showed out and knew what he was doing and helped out, considering the Bruins were incredibly shorthanded and in a double overtime game.
Yeah, nothing speaks more volume to that series against Ottawa than the fact that John Michael Lyles and Tommy Cross were both on the blue line for the Bruins at one point in that series. But it's amazing how long or how far they've come in the last 2 years now that they're playing for the big they're in the big dance.
And
but,
this has a chance to put them down in history.
Yeah.
Forget one title for this core group. It's when you win two that you become something special. It's not you don't want to be a Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and I'm naming football players because I have no idea what hockey players have only one run ring. Like this is why.
Give you a hint. Nobody on the Sharks.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, no. This
or
is
the Leafs.
The Bruins have a chance to really go down, and this is probably the pressure is on them in this Cup final. No question about it. I get that the Blues have veterans like I think Alexander Steen has been there a while. Comey's played over 1,000 games without winning a cup. You got Pietrangelo and Tarasenko, Shen, and Schwartz, but like. This could be the last Bruins shot.
Well, with this core.
Now, I think personally, Tampa Bay is going to fall to third in the Atlantic next year. I don't even have to look at anything, don't have to see what type of situation they're in. All I know is that Steve Yzerman is gone. The cap wizard, the best executive in all of sports. And if he's gone, I don't really know how Tampa's going to find their way out of that cap jail that I see themselves working into with these big contracts to Kucherov, Stamkos, and McDonough. But Toronto's still on the up and up. You got Columbus, who could retool, especially if they keep one of Panarin or Bobrovsky. And let's not forget, you still have to deal with the Caps and the Penguins, who just happened to get eliminated early this year. Like, the East has never been more open for the Bruins. They should take it now. And I don't know how much you're going to get out of Bergeron, Marchand, Krejci, and Chara, who is they're basically the core guys. Put Backes in there and Rask, yes, of course. If you want to put Backes in there just because he's older, sure, but he's not part of the core group that's been.
He likely won't be there next year anyway.
Over a decade.
Yeah, I mean, like you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. I do think there's more pressure on the Bruins because you can't really say there's always next year. This isn't like the Detroit Red Wings of the mid 2000s where they had Datsuk, Zetterberg, and all of them coming back the next year every year. And then you're at the
great SB video, by the way.
Yeah, I actually just watched that. That's why it came to my head.
That's on my to watch list.
Did you see the Jets had one today? The Jets collapse. That was good. I watched that one today.
I'm catching myself up on them, and then I'll eventually be right there with you. But I do think with the Bruins, there isn't always next year because there's always talk about, Chara could retire. Obviously, he signed for next year, so he'll probably come back anyway. But Bergeron's getting up there. He's been in the league for a long time. Krejci, same deal. Marchand, you're not really going to have to worry about him leaving. Same with Pastrnak. And then there's Rask, who everyone's going to be talking this summer, even if he wins the Stanley Cup, about how they should probably trade him because, it's Tuukka Rask, and he gets hated probably more than David Price at this point, even though, Rask's been on his head the entire postseason. And then even Krug, I guess you could put him in there too. He's been there for 6 years. He's a free agent at the end of the year. I would be all
right with letting him go.
You'd be all right with it?
Yeah.
I would too, only because I think with Moore and Grzelcyk, it's kind of redundant.
And he's just as short. You don't need multiple short defensemen. You really don't.
I think Grzelcyk's shown a ton. I think Grzelcyk's actually been a better defenseman on both ends. When you factor in the fact that Grzelcyk's a better defenseman.
You look at the second penalty kill unit. It's Char and Carlo first. Right after him are McAvoy and Grzelcyk. There's a reason he's out there.
Right.
Like, I don't.
And Grzelcyk's just as deadly on the power. Well, not just as deadly, but he's pretty close to as deadly as Krug, at least this year. I feel like Grzelcyk's taking a huge step forward.
Some of these players come next year, but I'm not going to worry about that now. I'm going to focus on whose laptop sounds like it's taking off right now.
Oh, that's mine.
No,
It does that when it does multiple things at once.
Jordan, just remember to edit this part out when we get there.
Okay.
All right, cool. And do you want to count it down and I'll just keep going?
3, 2, 1, go.
I just don't know, especially with – I want to keep Johansson. Coyle's already under contract. But you got to think that probably most of the fourth line, except for Corrali's going to be gone. I would like to re-sign him. Krug's gone. I don't want Backes to leave, but he probably will just because of the massive cap hit.
Yeah, they'll buy him out.
I don't know how much money you're going to have to spend in free agency, and I think this Bruins team does need to make a play. Yeah, you got a lot of young guys coming up, but look at the defensemen that need new contracts, and you're going to be spending a lot of money on them.
McAvoy and Carlo.
McAvoy and Carlo are the big two. I got to keep both of those. You have to.
I think they have less than 20 in cap space right now. Obviously, they'll probably buy out Backes, so they'll add a little bit to it. They'll probably be right around 20. Yeah, or last I checked, it looked like they had 21, and then they extended Chara.
Okay, yeah, that's doable. All right, so let's forget about the future. Focus on the present.
Yeah. Who do we think is going to be the I don't want to say the X factor, but who do we think is going to have to step up and be huge in this series?
MVP?
What?
You series MVP?
Well, I mean, I don't want to necessarily say series MVP, but because I think the Bruins are going to have their guys turn out. I actually think the first line is going to have a huge series this series because they haven't really had one yet. I mean, they've had big games collectively, but I don't think they've really put it together for a whole series. And I think this will be the perfect time, obviously. But I mean, those under the radar guys that are just going to step up, and I think David Backes will be one of them because I think this could be. I mean, he's facing his former team.
Who needs to step up, or who is going to step up?
Who do we think will? And then we can kind of get into who do we think is.
I don't know who's going to step up. I think Johansson will, just because he's probably going to get a lesser defense pair to match up against. Him and Coyle together have been electric so far.
9 and 2. You can't forget about him. He's been great too.
Good point. Yeah, that third line will probably generate a couple of goals just because of the fact that they're facing whoever, Edmondson and whatever schmuck they're running out there as their sixth defenseman now.
They have a revolving door there, I'm pretty sure.
I think it's Fortuzo now just because Dunn's hurt, but I'm not sure on that. But in terms of players who I think need to step up, there's two guys on my list. Krug is one. The Bruins power play has been clicking. You got 1 out of every 3 shots. 3 power plays, they're scoring a goal. And yet, have you really heard Torrey Krug's name that much? He collects assists from time to time, but not really.
The only time I'm hearing Torrey Krug's name at this point is basically when he's on the other end of a bone-crushing hit.
Yeah, I like
he's getting buried.
Up a little bit. Defend better just because we all know that's his weakness. Now, I haven't seen any glaring weaknesses from him. Yeah, he lets up a goal every so often, but everybody does, and Rask has been standing on his head. The other guy and the big guy, in my opinion, has got to be Jake DeBrusk. Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak are probably going to stay together and face the O'Reilly line. Now, that's the second line, but O'Reilly has a lot of success against Bergeron. Let's say he manages to do half or even 3/4 of what John Tavares did to Bergeron throughout the first 5 games of the Maple Leaf series. You're in trouble. Your second line is going to draw the tough task of facing the St. Louis top line. That would be Schenn, Schwartz, and Tarasenko. Does Jake DeBrusk have the balls to go up against the top scorers of the Blues? And can he help out on offense because he's been practically non-existent except for batting home a couple of rebounds against Carolina because they left a runway for him in the middle of the ice?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because last year he was like the one Bruin that stayed consistent from game 1 against Toronto to game 5 against Tampa Bay. And then this year he's been the one guy that we're all kind of waiting to get going on offense. Because we give a lot of crap to I've seen a lot of people give a ton of crap to the first line, but they've still produced to a point. I mean, they've produced enough.
Well, in my opinion, Krejci, Backes, and DeBrusk have come up with a goal every so often, but not nearly enough. I think the third line has had a greater output than them, and the fourth
line's been fantastic.
So
the third line, in my opinion, has been the best line.
The one weakness right now that I can point to, especially with the rest, Krejci and Bakken should hopefully be as healthy as possible going into this game 1 on Monday night, and they should be able to do their thing. Hopefully have about as much energy as they're going to have throughout the series. Now it's up to DeBrusque to show up. So, Jake, please. I'd like to see
The floor is yours.
somebody in
The floor is yours. But I mean, I think for me, the guys that I think will step up, like you said, the third line's been fantastic. I don't think we really need to worry about what they're going to or where they're going to be this series, because with Johansson and Coyle, I mean, Coyle has never made it far in the playoffs before this year because he was with Minnesota. But he's got a lot of playoff experience with them, though, because they made the playoffs pretty much every year he was there. They might have missed it once, but
yeah. And you know who was calling their series last year against the Jets?
Who?
Shooting. He scored. Number. Screw off, Chris Cuthbert. You suck. You suck so much. Also, side note, when did Mike Milbury become the second best color guy that NBC had? Seriously.
It's kind of sad.
On the Western Conference Finals and screwing up Couture the entire time. Bro, I don't need that. Joe Micheletti was doing it when Olczyk went to horse racing and Milbury came to Carolina with Doc, and it was great. Can we please get more of Joe Micheletti and just get Mike Milbury the hell off of the broadcast booth? Maybe put him back in the desk or something.
How the F me he dropped in the Blue Jacket series. Remember that?
I also do like Roenick in the stands, though. That is fun. I want to see more of that. And I think they should have a 2-man inside the glass team, because I think Boucher is doing a phenomenal job. And I think he's going to draw. He's probably going to be doing like sideline reports, like before the game, interviewing players, like before the dressing room. But I really hope that he's doing the games with Pierre, because I think he does really well.
He is pretty fantastic. Roenick is a character. I love.
So funny.
Remember that ad that they did?
Because both of them, wild partiers, wild drunkards during their careers, and now they just have a ton of character when they do their broadcasting. It's so funny.
It's great. Remember that ad? I don't know if it was during the Bruins Leaf series when it came out, but Roenick when he was like learning how to dance or whatever. Do you remember that ad? I think we were watching it together.
Yes, he was doing like the Irish step.
Yes, that
was so funny.
What a freaking weirdo!
So cringeworthy. It was pretty good.
Fantastic. So I guess we might as well move into our prediction for the series. What do you guys have?
Bruins in 7. Just because I never pick a blowout series. I don't want to. The only time I did it was against Carolina, because even I could see that it was a pile of dog crap that was facing the Bruins. I think it's going to be a long, drag-it-out series. We'll see what happens.
Well,
I hope so.
The last time I predicted a series, I said Celtics in 6.
All right, Jacqueline.
Big Blues.
So I'm not going to predict this series in fears of jinxing it.
Wise
so
choice.
I will sit this one out. And
Jacqueline predictions are not compatible at all.
yeah, my prediction is not valid in this case, and I choose to sit it out.
Sure.
I've optioned.
My
My
prediction.
player option.
My prediction is, I already knocked on wood, so my prediction is Bruins in 6, and I always do that. I always pick my team, and then I always go less than the full 7 on the safetiest of my heart. I don't.
I want to see Game 7, quadruple overtime. Let's go,
dude. Raskin OT. I don't care.
Right now.
I don't care if every single game that the Bruins win is a 1-0 shutout and Game 7 0-0 going into OT. I will never be confident in Raskin overtime. Ever. And I love Tuukka, but that dude scares me in OT. I got Bruins in 6.
Also, I think the fact that he has had such a resurgence so far in the playoffs is mostly due to the fact that Halak took so many games from him at the start of the season. He seems
agreed.
invested in an absolute zone.
Yeah, this was statistically Tuukka's either worst or second worst season in the NHL. And he's been an absolute machine so far in the playoffs. So right now, my pick for Conn Smythe would be him if the Bruins win it.
Oh, it's got to be.
Unless he sucks this series and a Bruin goes freaking nuts, I don't see somebody taking him. Freaking nuts, dude.
I can't do the Boston accent with the freaking. It's got to be.
It's got to be the F-bomb.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not gonna waste my swear on that.
Yeah, Jack is fading quickly. We may want to move on to a relevant topic.
Okay, we will switch gears and talk about football because so we can wake Jacqueline up. we talk about the Patriots. Might as well. Jeremy had a game he wanted to play, so I'll let him introduce
What's the game, Jeremy?
Okay, so today, Troy Vincent released a statement regarding competition committee. Now, we have a separate rule that we're going to get into a little bit later regarding overtime and the Chiefs. But in terms of the reviewing offensive pass interference and defensive pass interference, he said that now coaches have to throw the flag inside of 2 minutes in order to challenge that. So that's the only thing that I think they'll be able to throw the flag on is the OPI and DPI. The booth can't initiate it. They have to notice it. And second of all, the NFL is going to try and define what a Hail Mary is.
What?
What?
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to call OPI and DPI. So
This is something that's actually happening.
this is something that's actually happening. The NFL is going to try and define what a Hail Mary is. Now,
They're trying to find what a catch is first.
you guys remember in Dallas a couple years ago, the Chiefs got a touchdown right before half by throwing essentially a bubble screen, and everybody ran downfield
Yeah.
as time expired, and then they scored. Now, is that a Hail Mary or is it not? We don't know. Then you can
Check
compare
down.
to, let's say, the Brady passes at the end of Super Bowls and or
We don't want to talk about it.
Miami Miracle. Was that a Hail Mary? Because it was a desperation play. It was a last chance, but it wasn't a long bomb down the field. Now, no one's going to know. Anyway, Troy Vincent's solution here is, let me find the quote here. I saved it.
Filler time.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Troy Vincent said, quote, "We have webinars scheduled for June 4th and June 5th with all the coaches to go through a series of plays to understand what the standard will be in replay, but to also discuss this issue and discuss the Hail Mary." Now, we're going to play a game. We're going to give you guys a coach, and we're going to see how they would react if they had to go to a webinar about figuring out what a Hail Mary is. We're going to start with Andy Reid. He's clearly enjoying a 3-course meal from Arby's during the webinar. And we're going to be like, Andy, you with us? What? I can't get my mouth around these mashed potatoes.
You gotta fit a belch in there somewhere.
I can't burp on command, but you know what? Imagine, picture it.
Imagine.
The fog is settling in.
The second coach, Bill
I've already, and I was about to say, I've already taken on his persona by putting my hoodie on.
how would Bill Belichick react? Because I have my own thing, but I'm going to let you guys lead off on these.
Wait, so this is the reaction to the Hail Mary pat? Like
This is
the
Bill
final-
Belichick trying to figure out what a webinar is, I guess. Think about that. That'll make it all time funny.
Wait, trying to figure out what a webinar is, or trying to?
If you were told, look, you have to attend this webinar about what a Hail Mary is or isn't.
Okay.
How would he react to that?
Hi guys. I just got off the field from practice, and I decided I was told that we had to get on this webinar here. My hubby set it up for me. I don't really know. I don't know how to use the face snap.
There you
So,
go.
I was waiting for that to get put in there. So like,
can't believe you like Skype or something. I don't understand. That was gonna be my Belichick.
I was
Next,
told.
we got,
Jesus Christ, we're on to OTAs.
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I just wanted to get back to my film study, so I don't know why we are having this stupid webinar. So
I'd rather be on a beach
we're on to preseason.
What in the hell is a webinar?
than mojitos or something. I don't know.
All I heard from that is mojitos.
Mojitos,
That's all I heard.
heard.
That's all I got.
Next is not so much an audio one as a visual one, and we're gonna let the 3 listeners picture this. Adam Gase in a webinar camera with his eyes just going nuts. Could you imagine?
Adam freaking Gase.
I hope we get video of this webinar. So it's just literally Adam. Did you see that he did another press conference today as the GM and the coach, and his hat was pulled down so low that you couldn't see it.
Wait, can we talk about that shit show for a second?
Yeah.
Please, can we just pause from this game? Take a time out here. What is happening in New York? The Jets are going to be such a challenge for the Patriots this year. They're going to be such a challenge.
Was that Trump?
No! No!
Was that a Trump
They're gonna be
impression?
a shit show. Oh, I don't know. That's just like my white man impression. The Jets are going to be such a challenge.
We're going to make the Jets great again.
They're good people. They're very good people. I pick the best people to run the Jets. They know everybody that they need to go pick up, and I will give them Chick-fil-A at the party.
They know words. They've got the best words. It's an absolute. Okay, continue.
Yeah, sorry. I just had to acknowledge the shit show.
That is hilarious because apparently Adam Gase didn't even want to sign Le'Veon Bell.
So he's already feuding with his star running back. That's just so Jets.
I've heard, I don't know if it was like a rumor that this is happening or like someone was like, oh, it would be so funny if this would happen if like there's already trade talks going for Bell.
They will not move Le'Veon Bell. They will fire Gase in a heartbeat before they get rid of Le'Veon Bell.
But I think it was like that'd be so funny if this happened. But I remember seeing a tweet that was like that. I was like, oh damn. Like poor Bell, no one wants.
Jets fans had to deal with the butt fumble and years of irrelevance to get Le'Veon Bell. They're not going to allow their new GM to get rid of the guy.
But is Bell still going to be relevant? That's the real.
I mean,
question.
We'll see. I mean,
yeah.
It'd be hard.
He gained weight. He hasn't played football in over a year. He's taking a hiatus. He's not going to be. He's not going to be as good as he was. You know.
So, is he going to be better at football than he is at rapping, though? Because that dude's dog shit at rapping. That honestly, I
listened to his whole album.
Yes,
it's going to be the team.
That made me so mad.
Yeah, you thought that the team that he was going to be on was going to be released on one of his songs.
No, but the thing is, it was announced the night of his album release too. It was just like an hour after it,
or something.
It was like shortly after his album release. So I was trying to figure out what song he was going to announce what the team he signed with, and it never happened. But I mean, I think everyone kind of thought it was going to be the Jets. In all reality, it just made the most sense for him. It was either them or like the Ravens, which just came out of nowhere, but they all of a sudden became a favorite. But I don't know. The Jets are a travesty. We can go back to the game though.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to acknowledge that.
No worries, that's fine. Next, we got Pete Carroll, who I would imagine would start chewing a bunch of gum during this, like he did during Joe. Hey guys, I'm just going to take off my shirt and compare it to DK Metcalf again.
You could also get his Super Bowl 49 reaction where he threw his headset down. Just
no. My next one was going to be on. Are you sure that Hail Mary could be only a passing play? Because I'm pretty sure I decide to pass it on most occasions when I'm called for.
Can I hand it to Marshawn on Hail Mary?
Yeah. Can I hand it to beast mode on Hail Mary? All right. Next, I had Sean McVay, just for the simple fact that after we saw the mic'd up version, which the NFL has taken away, by the way, which is so stupid.
Wait, what?
Mic'd up players this year.
They aren't?
Stuff, which is stupid. Anyway.
They're doing that?
You guys remember how Sean McVay started like gushing over Belichick?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. I'd be like, oh god, I can't believe that Belichick is on this too. I can't believe that he's on here.
Let me send. Do you need your dick further up my ass? Sure, Vincent, I got you.
Well, okay.
Of all the people, Sean McVay seems like the biggest fuckwad on the planet. Oh, and that is my new favorite insult, by the way. It is no longer fuck ass. It is fuckwad. Next, we got Sean Payton, who I'm imagining would just love everything about this, just so he could complain more about the refs. And it was kind of a gloss over. Finally, last coach on my list that I thought was worthy enough to include would be Mike Tomlin, who I'd imagine would try and trip a receiver down the field as he was running to the end zone for the Hail
Mary. No.
Like, I don't know what they were talking about. Ben said to pass it, so I just had to trip the DB or trip the wide receiver as they were going down. And yeah. That's about all I got. I really kind of wanted to just hit the big ones. The Andy Reid, the Belichick, and the Adam Gase eyes would get me so much.
I like that Jeremy was like, let's play a game. And then he proceeded to be the only one who participated in the game.
We can always do the Jason Garrett where he's just sitting there smiling and clapping. He's just like,
oh, yes. Jason Garrett. I like this rule. You slap somebody's ass again because, Zeke doesn't get enough of that.
Yeah, freaking Jason Garrett goes from clapping and smiling, finds Sean McVay and slaps his ass.
You can totally see that.
And McVay would be all there.
Out of the overtime thing, I guess. Whoa! Never mind. Hang on. The Raptors just beat the Bucks. They're up 5 with 16 seconds to go.
No.
Reggie?
What a comeback by the Raptors. Good for them. All right.
I wanted the Bucks in it.
Yeah. So the overtime rules getting
Okay.
tabled for another year. Jacqueline, you may proceed.
Okay, so
Wrong.
essentially, the overtime rules in the NFL are so dumb because personally, and I have always thought this, it really hasn't been just this year, like just this past AFC Championship game. I did a presentation on it in my speech comm class last semester, at the beginning of last semester. It was called Think of Matt Ryan. I thought that was pretty clever. And it was essentially saying that the overtime rules in the NFL truly, if the game is trying to be as fair as it is now with all this stupid instant replay shit that they are putting on to the game, all the challenges and everything, and bringing so much technology into it, if you truly want to make the game fair, especially in postseason, then you need to have both teams be allowed to possess the ball in overtime. I don't care what anyone says about, oh, you should have played defense well enough in the regular 4 quarters. Yeah, I don't care about that because you know what? This is an extra quarter of play, and I think that both teams should be able to at least possess the ball. And if one team scores a touchdown, so be it. They can try for the extra point, and then, or it could be like you just score touchdowns. I don't know. I don't think that going to the way that college does it is the solution, but I don't think that the way that they're doing it now is effective if they're trying to make the game as fair as they want it to be. End of spiel.
Okay.
George,
So
you want to tee off? You want me to tee off?
yeah, this is the one time I'll ever agree with anything Nick Wright says, because this was after the Patriots Chiefs. It was after the Pats Chiefs game last year. I double take because I wasn't sure if it was after Saints Rams, but which was the same day, so that makes no sense. But anyway, he was talking about the overtime rule that the Chiefs wanted to propose, or the Chiefs proposed because they felt it was unfair to them to not get the ball in overtime. The one time I'll agree with Nick Wright, he says you play the game to win it in regulation. Once you don't win it in regulation, you go to overtime. And at that point, it's really all about the will. And if you can't get a stop, so go back to the AFC title game. The Chiefs had 3 third and longs, the Patriots offense had 3 third and longs, and the Chiefs couldn't get them off the field.
That's true.
You had 3 opportunities to get the ball back, and one of them would have just been a long field goal. And we know Gostkowski, like outside of 45 yards in the playoffs, is not automatic. So they had 3 opportunities to get the ball in OT, and they couldn't do it. At that point, I'm sorry. You don't deserve to get the ball back. If you didn't lay an egg in the first half, you probably win that game in regulation. And it can be said for both sides because the Patriots could have just not blown a lead in the second half and they would have won in regulation too. But then again, they are not the ones that wound up blowing it in OT. And you look at the Saints-Rams, the Saints lost it not because of that blown call at the end of regulation. They lost it because Drew Brees threw a pick.
In overtime.
And the Rams made a play on defense. You need to be able to play well on both sides. You shouldn't be able to give up a touchdown in OT and then all of a sudden be like, no, well. Or be like, okay, we got the ball back and we can just pray for a stop on the second possession. I just think it's stupid.
I just don't think that it's fair to be making all of these rules about like pass interference and all of these rules about like what's it called? Oh my god. About reviews, like video instant replay reviews and things like that, in order to make the game more fair and make all the calls correct. When in overtime, it's like the least, in my opinion, the least fair that you can get in a football game is when you don't even have a chance. Like, I don't know. I just think that Patrick Mahomes should have had a chance to touch the ball. I think he should have had a chance to touch the ball.
He had a chance to touch the ball, and his defense let him down 3 times.
It's the most fair that you can get in a football game because guess what? The well-rounded teams always win. You never did the 2011 Patriots win the Super Bowl? No, because they were all offense and no defense. It's something along the lines of that, honestly. Like Jordan said, give the defense a chance to actually step up and prove that they're not just sitting there to be water boys for the offense at this point. Like, the defense should have stepped up for Kansas City in that instance.
They should have, and I agree with that. But I just don't.
They're not. Did you see what the dude said about it today, though?
I didn't.
I think little Roger Goodell said, we're trying to collect more data on this to decide if we want to move forward with this. Guess what that data is? If the Patriots get the coin toss again and go down and win in overtime in a playoff game, you better believe this is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen it's not going to happen for the regular season because Lord help us, we got to get those games over and done with and get to the playoffs. It's only going to happen in the postseason. That is the most mind-numbing bull crap that I have ever heard of. Just because people don't want the Patriots to win, and this is an anti-Patriots rule. I don't know if this is biased on my part, but that's what
I mean, I know we're all Pats fans, but I think we all agree.
Lose the coin toss, get a pick, and then win the game after that. Then people are going to be clamoring for somehow we got to screw them again because that's what's going to happen. Honestly, I'm so sick.
Yeah, the next rule is higher overtime or whatever. They're gonna keep changing the rules so that way the Patriots wind up getting screwed out of it somehow. Like when they changed the whole you can't jump over the long snapper because Shea McClellan got really good at blocking field goals. Like, I mean, I don't know if that was necessarily anti-Patriot.
That is one of my least favorite rule changes because I think that makes
that was so exciting.
And it makes like field goals and extra points almost a given now. Because there's really no other way. That is true.
For Cody Parkey. A doink and doink.
but yeah, that is probably one of my least favorite rule changes.
Do you guys think this is even a question or like a rule whatsoever if the Chiefs win the coin toss, go down and win in overtime? Because I don't. At all.
Well, I think that the reason why it was proposed
is because the Patriots won.
No, I think that the reason why it was proposed is because the Saints made a stink, and so the Chiefs were like, we should make a stink too.
No,
and the Patriots won.
The Chiefs lost fair and square. The Saints did not lose fair and square. The Saints got screwed. They got chopped. They got bet.
Yeah, but then again, they also got a chance to win it in OT because they won the coin toss, and then they blew it because they threw a pick because the opposing defense was good enough to make a play for them.
The Chiefs didn't even solve their one problem that doomed them last year anyway. They shipped out Justin Houston and Eric Berry and got back Honey Badger and Frank Clark. And
they forgot about D Ford too. They got rid of D Ford.
Yes, they made marginal upgrades and wasted a ton of cap room. That's all they did. Like the Chiefs aren't going anywhere this year, in my opinion. I'll bring this up before we start the actual shows when we get back into the studio this fall. I think what we should do, because I saw SVP do it, and I thought it was actually a smart idea. You write 10 bold predictions for the season. We could do it on a Google Doc or on a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Fold it up. We're going to read them on one of our shows before the NFL season starts, and we look at them the day after the Super Bowl.
That does sound kind of cool.
Interesting, just because I kind of want to come up with some hot takes.
That does sound kind of cool. I mean, we already know mine from the show, which was the Saints will be under 500 this year, or they'll be 8-8 or worse.
I got
whatever it was.
In the AFC North. So
what was that?
I got the Steelers winning the AFC North. That's definitely one of mine.
My hot take is that the Browns are going to the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. But
all right, let's move on to the Red Sox before
well, real quick, I actually forgot that Odell was on the Browns until earlier today. Like I was just sitting there in my living room and I was like, oh shit, Odell. What?
Barry got dealt to the Browns, didn't he?
No.
I thought he did. I swear he did.
I don't think Eric Berry is a team right now.
Didn't Houston sign him?
I swear he went to...
I thought Eric Berry... No, because Eric Berry and Tyrann Mathieu switched teams, I'm pretty sure.
I don't believe so.
I think Eric Berry's on the Texans.
I swear I saw him.
Is this a question for Siri?
No.
Who did the Browns signed some back? And I don't remember. I swear it was Eric Berry.
Eric Berry's not on a team.
Yeah, he's not on a team. I just looked him up.
Yeah, because one day ago, or the top story says Carolina Panthers free agent safety option Eric Berry. Well, I don't know necessarily.
Who was it?
Need a wide receiver. I mean, jeez, I can't talk. Cowboys. If the Cowboys really want a safety, go and get Eric Berry. However much he's got left, it's still better than Jeff Heath.
It'll be cheap too. They don't have a lot of cap space.
The Browns don't have their depth chart up. That's weird.
All right. Let's move on to the Sox. I don't know how much time we got left in this. We might be running over the hour of power and hitting essentially 90 minutes with this.
Yeah.
The hour of power. Anyways.
Yeah, moving on to the Red Sox. They've just took 3 of 4 against the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, it's the Blue Jays.
Great John Farrell impression.
What?
And Alex Cora is doing a great John Farrell impression.
Oh, yeah. He has been. It's
a rookie manager thing. It really is. It's absurd.
It is starting to bother me a bit about the whole Like I went into this year thinking Alex Cora was this mega genius who could do no wrong. He's a smart guy, and if somebody doesn't come through, it's because of the player themselves. But we're talking about a dude who's like overthinking everything. He's like he got lucky last year, and he's really just Dave Roberts of the American League because the dude overmanages everything.
Last night, I didn't agree with. You were mad that they didn't pull that they pulled Porcello after 6.
He threw 80 pitches.
Here's the problem, though. What did he do against Houston the outing before?
Oh my God! It's the Houston Astros. That's the Houston Astros. Not the Toronto Blue Jays.
Too long. That was definitely in the back of Cora's mind. I could see his thinking there. It made sense. I can't. But it's the Blue Jays
because he didn't even have to face Vlad Jr. in the 7th inning, who's literally their entire offense. He took him after 6 innings, 80 pitches, and looked nowhere close to done. And he yanked him, and he went to freaking Brandon Workman.
Porcello, I was fine with that. My question was, what was his plan afterwards? Because he went to Workman and then Barnes pretty quickly. Like, he had no intention of saving Barnes for the 9th. And, yeah, so in the heat of the moment last night, I know I texted the group when I said, all right, I'm not that concerned about Marcus Walden, even if he blows this game, because he's having a good year. You know, that's fine. He's closing. I don't really have a big problem with it. Then I woke up this morning and thought about it a little bit, and I said, why the frick isn't Craig Kimbrell on this team yet?
That's what everyone's kind of saying.
The Wheel of Gutless Bums is making a reappearance. Thank you, Jim Murray, for giving me that one, by the way. That's absolute gold. Because the bullpen is back. The crappy bullpen is back. And the only guy who could do anything up until now was Matt Barnes, and he just gave up a solo bomb last night. Now, him and him alone can't save this bullpen. You need someone else. And
you need to define roles pretty quickly if you're going to stick with this bullpen. So you need to find a closer that's your closer. You can't have nights. I'm saying if you're sticking with this bullpen, because I don't think they're going to sign Craig Kimbrell. If you're going to stick with this group of guys, you need to define roles for them ASAP. You can't have Barnes close one night, Brazier another, Workman another, and Walden another.
But Jordan,
you need to find a closer.
Grand plan. That was Alex Cora and Dave Dombrowski's grand plan from the start of this year. It was, we're not going to get a 9th inning guy. And I'm pretty sure that was specifically the language that they used, because they wanted a guy who could go in high leverage spots.
They wanted.
When you only have one good guy and he gets used, you still need someone to lock the door down when a team is actually fighting in the bottom of the 9th. And Walden couldn't do it last night. He couldn't. And I don't know if he can do it in the future. So when you use Barnes in these situations and he's not there for the 9th inning, who can you go to that you can trust? Because I don't trust any of them.
I mean, other than Barnes, it is kind of suspect. I mean, when you look at Brazier, he's only been good in save situations. It's almost like he's kind of adopted the Craig Kimbrell pitching philosophy, which is I can only pitch the 9th inning in a save situation because the dude can't pitch in other spots. Barnes has been the best reliever without a doubt, and I'm not going to discredit him because he gave a homer to Justin Smoke.
By so much, he has lapped the field by now.
Yeah, he has. Without a doubt. I mean, Walden's been like in the same ballpark because he's been great, but he also hasn't been used in much high leverage situations. And then you got an opportunity last night, and he didn't get the job done. He gave up the game tying hit, and then he walked out in the 10th inning. And then you get into extras. So this was my reasoning actually for getting pissed off that Porcello got lifted. Now they got lucky today that Ryan Weber was able to give you 6 innings because yesterday we're talking about a dude who hasn't made an MLB start in 2 years. Starting today, so you need to extend your starter yesterday as much as possible. Shut up, Jeremy. you need to extend your starter as much as possible. Limit the amount of work your bullpen needs to get, so that way the guy that's pitching the next day doesn't have to give you 6 innings. Now Weber was great today, so obviously they lucked out in that regard. But I mean, you can't lift Porcello after 80 pitches yesterday. That just seems ridiculous. I mean, I understand you getting gun shy after what happened against Houston, but if you're more afraid of putting Porcello out there for an extra inning against the Blue Jays than you were against the Astros, I don't know what to tell you, dude. That's just horrible thinking.
He's adopting an AJ Hinch philosophy with no AJ Hinch players, especially in that bullpen, because they have a couple of guys that they can go to, namely Presley and Osuna, that are just absolute studs. And
they have Rondon, and they have a bunch of other guys with closing experience too. I mean, Rondon used to close for the Cubs before they got Chapman. So,
his philosophy of you're going to use your best reliever in the most high leverage situation sounds good and all, but it's like Moneyball. If you don't have the horses, then you really can't pull it off.
Well, even with Moneyball, they had a closer. They had a guy that was their ninth inning guy. They just also had a stacked bullpen.
No. My point being, like, in Moneyball, yeah, you can try and be cost effective and get lesser players, but if those players can't, it really doesn't matter. So, like in this instance, the Red Sox can try that philosophy, but if they don't have anyone other than Barnes, how far are you really going to go? And yeah, that's why I do want Craig Kimbrell back now more than ever, just because of games like last night. I'm all for this high leverage crap when it's necessary, but like honestly, I'd much rather just have a bona fide ninth inning guy. I really would. I don't care about this high leverage crap. If you're confident enough to throw out a reliever in the seventh inning, you should be able to throw out in the eighth inning against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. You really should. That's my opinion.
I mean, in my opinion, I don't think
by saying that, but like honestly, have some faith in you guys, please.
In my opinion, they don't need to get Craig Kimbrell because I think they do have a bona fide ninth inning guy, and I think that's Matt Barnes. Because we've seen how he looks when he pitches in the ninth inning, and I mean, he's only had 3 save opportunities. He's converted all of them, and one of them was against Seattle earlier in the year, and that was back when Seattle was like the World Series favorites all of a sudden because they came out of the gates flaming red hot, and he made them. Yeah, and he made the Matt Stairs look stupid in that game. So I mean, he's looked great in his save situations. I think he is their bona fide ninth inning guy. You need upgrades in the 7th, and you need upgrades in the 8th. And I think you can get cheaper options than Craig Kimbrell. Now, if his asking price has gone down to $13 million, which I think you said last week.
That's what I had heard a while ago, but I haven't heard any rumors about it since.
If it's actually gone down, then yeah, I'm all on board with bringing him back. I don't want to give him $17 million, though. I really don't. That's just too much for a guy because it would be on a 1-year deal most likely.
As much as possible. Go out and win a couple more now. Seriously. I'd rather compete with Houston and New York than have to deal with this crap. This is just maddening.
I mean, if it doesn't wind up costing you, because I know they're leading after 7 innings, they're now 17 or 18-3 or 18-2. I mean, it's not like the Yankees who are undefeated when they lead after 7 because they have a super bullpen. They're like 26-0 when leading after 7. But it's not like the Red Sox bullpen's really been that terrible. They're still a top 10 bullpen in all of baseball. But in terms of ERA and a bunch of other stats, they're top 10 in the league. I don't think you need Kimbrell. I think you need to make upgrades at other spots, and I think that's where you can look at a team like Washington and pluck off the couple of decent relievers they have. And then there's always good relievers on bad teams that you can just go and pry away. And then there's still some free agents there that aren't Craig Kimbrell. There's Bud Norris. He was a good reliever last year and the year before that. I mean, he's been solid in the past. You can get him on a $1 million or $2 million contract, and he could be your 7th inning guy, and you can kind of settle guys into roles. And I just think that's what it's about. You have guys that don't know what their role is.
That's my vote. You got to get both of them. I don't know what you're going to have to give up, but I'd probably give it up. Even Jackie Bradley, who for some odd reason, turned a corner against Toronto of all teams. God.
He always turns a corner against a bad team.
Pitches, doubles. What is this?
It's like
Jackie
every
Bradley spot. Oh.
Nobody wants to get DFA'd for Pedroia. Nobody.
No.
Because today, so the 3 guys that are like notable in the offensive side, because obviously there's Tyler Thornburg and Colton Brewer. Their jobs are likely gone in the near future. But Nunez, Pierce, and Bradley, they're the 3 guys on the hot seat in the position players side. And they went 7 for 13 today. And they just went nuts. It's like nobody wants to get DFA'd for Pedroia. And honestly, who can blame them? Because he actually might be worse than all 3 at this stage.
Yeah. We just got to table this for another day and see what happens when it comes back. But please go out and sign Craig Kimbrell. It's not hard. It's really not. Get off your high horse, Dave. You too, Alex, and start to work with a guy who's a bona fide stud and can actually close games for you. And you can.
He wasn't a bona fide stud in the second half or playoffs last year.
Huh?
He wasn't this bona fide stud in the second half in the playoffs last year.
Did not blow a save.
Okay, Matt Barnes hasn't blown a save yet either.
I didn't say anything bad about Matt Barnes today.
Ryan Brazier hasn't blown a save in the 9th inning either.
Don't qualify that with the 9th inning.
Because Ryan Brazier's blown
middle-aged Caillou. I think
that was me. That was my 4 a.m. tweet.
I woke up, went to my truck. Went to unload a truck. course, and laughed my ass off. It was amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Way to help me start my morning to see literally you. I was like,
You're welcome. You're welcome. But I only say qualify. I only say in the 9th inning because I mean it's technically a blown save if you blow the lead in the 6th or 7th inning, which I think is kind of dumb because I don't know. It's not really a save because you're not really closing the game. You just blew the lead. I don't know. So if you were qualifying it by what saves would be, which would be if you go the 8th or 9th inning, he's not blown a save yet either. So those are your two guys that are really your two closers. They haven't been a problem for the most part when asked to fulfill that closing role. I don't know. I just think you need to shore up roles and not have to expend or give up $17 million to a guy who wasn't very good last year.
You know who knows his role, and it's to hit dingers, is Michael Chavis.
And Rafael Devers.
So I did some research last night because I saw a tweet that inspired me. I don't even know whose tweet it was. What?
you bring up multiple and stats?
I brought up multiple and stats and worked for an half hour in order to find multiple and stats.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so Michael Chavis, out of his 10 home runs, granted, he's literally been in the major leagues for a month now. It was a month a few days ago. I think 3 days ago at this point of or recording. He only has 2 home runs that are under 400 feet.
Yep.
One was 374 feet, and one was 389 feet. But the other ones were well over 400 feet.
The dude does not hit cheapies. I'll tell you that much.
He hit one 451 feet.
He's got the 2 farthest home runs for the Red Sox this year.
Yeah, 450. Oh no, 459 and 451. Excuse me.
Yeah, that dude's an absolute machine.
And I'm just very concerned because of the way I know that, like, you know what? I feel like at this point, Cora can be like a little bit. He can. I know everyone was like, "Stop crapping on Cora. It's just the beginning of the year," but I feel like he can be crapped on a little bit at this point.
I've crapped on him a lot.
I have too.
Okay.
I went as far as to text one of my Yankees fan friends and tell him Aaron Boone's a better manager.
Okay, Neil, let's not go that far.
Wow.
I mean, Aaron Boone's
alternate realities here, Jordan. We're gonna leave that to the Avengers.
Aaron Boone's team's going nuts, and they have 16 guys on the injured list.
Yeah, the
Red Sox have been very healthy this year, and they are struggling. I mean, they've caught fire recently, but they're still
philosophy, not because of in-game managing. What move has Aaron Boone made that made you go, "Wow, nice job"? It's literally he's going, "Wow, I'm just gonna play DJ LeMahieu, who's having a great year." The Geo guy, who I have no clue about. But
I mean, it's been a lot of minor things like positioning guys in the lineup. So like DJ LeMahieu was hitting like 7th early in the year, and then he had a couple of decent games, and he was up to the 3 spot, and he's been producing there. I'm just saying it's been minor things, but he hasn't made a move that I'm just like, what in the hell are you doing? And I've actually watched a lot of the Yankees this year because they are intriguing since everyone's on the injured list. Yeah. So I've watched a lot of their games this year, and Aaron Boone hasn't made a move where I'm just like, what the hell is going through your head right now? Cora's made a lot of those moves, and maybe it's just because I care more about what the Red Sox are doing than the Yankees, but I don't know. Cora's made a lot of head-scratching moves this year where I'm just like, what the fuck is going through your head?
All right.
Bomb, dude.
Before we move on to
Yep, there it is. Fucking A.
Did you guys see that the Milwaukee Bucks daughter put on a Pusha T shirt to clap back at Drake for his antics tonight?
How'd that work?
So
she's the new curse. It's not Drake anymore.
Drake now has her as his profile picture on Instagram.
That's funny.
That's fantastic.
That's funny.
All right, let's move on to the last topic here.
Yeah, we're moving on to the final 15 as my laptop actually hits 15%. So we're literally in the final 15.
All right. So I feel like I need, because you know how like on the radio show I have like, it's the 9:30 topics. I need like a new one. But that'll make it come.
No, it's final countdown.
It's the final 15. All right, go ahead.
I mean, okay. So tonight's topic is, what is the weirdest or craziest or just like an odd thing that you've ever seen on public transportation? Okay. I was taking the T this morning and it popped into my mind, so I was just wondering.
I did go last with the cop one last time, so I'm going to lead off here with my 2. They're really quick. I know we're kind of running out of time. Both of them happened in New York. One of them I saw on Instagram. Some
Shocking.
dude like absolutely slugged some grandmother. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember that one.
That was the one that I saw on social media, and the one that I saw in real life was when I went to the Yankees game with my brother this past March. There was a dude with what looked like a blow-up sex doll, and he was talking to it in the middle of the subway on our way to the stadium. What a conversation they had, because it was a dude talking to a sex doll. It was a girl, yet the doll's name was Mike.
Interesting.
Think of that.
Oh,
Bill, he was clearly on something.
Yeah.
Those are my two real fast ones.
Okay. I've
Needless
always
to say,
thought-
everyone just kept looking at the dude, and he did not give a crap, and it was the funniest thing in the world.
that's
Wow.
awesome.
That is awesome. I really don't have any crazy ones, although I've I introduced the topic. This morning I saw someone putting on a full face of makeup on the tee, and I was like, good for you, girl. You go get it. I know. I was like, that is impressive that you don't give a crap about anyone else, and you're just doing your makeup. And then I've been hit on multiple times on the tee, and that is not encouraged by anyone or any. I just don't do it to anyone.
On the other hand, I will encourage it. If you are desperate enough to hit on me on the tee, go right ahead.
I do not encourage. One time, okay, this is like another crazy thing that happened to me on the tee, I guess. I was going to like a rally. I think it was like I don't know. I had posters that I had made, and this guy, and I forgot my headphones. This is the big thing, because I always wear headphones on the tee so that no one talks to me, because I don't like to talk to people. Sorry, don't want to.
Right with you.
And this guy just like looks at my posters and is like, "Did you make those?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Can I see them?" So he was sitting across. He's sitting across from me, so I just like showed them up. He moves over and sits directly next to me, and at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna get stabbed. I'm gonna get raped. I'm gonna get like something bad is gonna happen to me.
Was going to find Jacqueline in the side of a ditch. So,
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like hyperventilating, and I'm like, "Yeah, these are the posters." Like, oh. He's like, "Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. You should go to art school." I was like, well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like, goodbye, sir. Luckily, he got off after you
blinking
stopped before
SOS
me.
Morse code.
Yeah, I was like, please help. But some
Jacqueline
people,
slowly reaches for the pepper spray.
yeah. My mom wanted to get me pepper spray, but that's a separate story.
It's for situations like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when
Situations on public transportation. It's not fun. It's not fun, man. But yeah, that was my other tea story. It's not that interesting, but that happened to me, and it was
creepy.
not fun. It's so creepy. I have many creepy public transportation stories. Not fun.
The weirdest thing I think I've seen on public transportation was I saw a bunch of drunken groomsmen grinding on each other one night. It was really weird. It was after a Sox game. I think that was the game I went to with Carolyn last year, so you'd have to ask her to confirm. But there was a bunch of drunken groomsmen grinding on each other, and they were in another dimension that night. It was really weird. I mean, there's not much to say about that other than that's probably the weirdest thing I've witnessed on public transportation. I don't pay much attention to it because I usually have music in, but that night I did not. And very, very interesting. They were like
falling asleep on the tee.
Have I ever fallen asleep on the tee?
By complete accident. Good thing I was with somebody, because I don't know what would have happened if I was alone.
No, a homeless person almost fell asleep on me on the tee. I've never stood up faster in my entire life. She started falling, and I was like, "Yeet!" I shot up like a rocket. You were not putting your head anywhere near my body. Get away from me. Go get a job. Take a shower, whatever. Get away from me. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Final thing before we end: Stephen A. Smith baby filter is the most amazing thing to ever come about because of Snapchat in the history of technology. It is just phenomenal. Have you seen the one where he's like, "I am very, very upset"?
No.
Yes, I saw that one today.
That's
fantastic.
Priceless. Oh my word! Hang on, I got the I got the one where it's him and LeVar Ball. I'm just gonna play it real quick into the mic, and I'm hoping I can pick it up here. Let's see how this goes.
Anybody care about no damn LeVar?
Imagine him, but you gotta picture him with the baby face. Now,
Oh, I did the entire time. That was fantastic.
it is so funny. Oh my word! But they didn't. I think the best one has got to be overall. Their first move as the executive of the New York Knicks was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack. In the baby voice, I don't even know if that was a good high pitched voice. But that was about the highest my voice can go without cracking. That was phenomenal. It was so funny. God, I hope he sees this and reacts to one of them because that would just be amazing.
Just like he did with the Old Town Road remix.
Yeah.
I love Stephen A. Stephen A is a national treasure. I love that, man.
If and when this country goes straight to hell with the apocalypse and everything, which is going to happen in about, I don't know, 3 seconds, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp have to be put into witness protection just because of the fact that we need their memes to keep us going through the
Jeremy, Sam's right behind you.
Ah!
That was very delayed.
I know. Honestly, I thought my laptop died because it was dead silent for a second because it's at 8% right now. So we are running on fumes over here.
The hoodie.
Wow, I haven't gotten mine yet.
New,
Depressed.
new. It smells like it's the packaging. It is very strong. I have not washed it yet.
Well, Jeremy and I ordered ours a year ago, and we just got ours this week. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Not actually. He just never followed up with us.
Yeah.
How long ago did we order that? Like a week, right?
Yeah.
Yours like 3 days. I had to wait another like 4 or 5.
That's because Sam likes me.
Mm.
Can I actually respond to his texts sometimes?
Yes.
Are you wearing a Tiger sweatshirt, Jacqueline? I just noticed that.
No, this is Joey's high school.
Oh, it looks like a Tigers logo, and I saw the baseball. Like it says baseball underneath it. I thought that was a Tigers
No, it's
logo.
Howell.
Yeah,
I was like, who in the hell would wear a Detroit Tigers baseball sweatshirt in 2019?
Not me.
That's brutal.
Not this one. No, I'm wearing Howell High School baseball. Woohoo.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Smart break.
Anyways,
I'm going to make a brief guess. Howell sounds like a prep school.
no, it's not. It's his town.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Prep school type of person.
No,
Would he have survived in a prep school? I don't know.
probably.
Let's just say that he might have been able to pick a lot of the high items off of branches with his.
Stop.
You dick.
That's an asshole.
No.
So,
One thing I will say about him though is I added him on Facebook when I joined the baseball team, and then all of my you might know this person. I had one mutual friend, and it was him. He literally took over my suggested friends.
Who?
One friend is from Uruguay, and I don't think he's realized the concept of Facebook bots because a ton of them send me friend requests, obviously, as you know the Facebook bots do, and it always has one mutual friend, and it's him.
Hold on.
What do you find so funny about that?
You know, a ton of them send me friend requests like the Facebook bots do. Sorry, I just thought that was so funny.
Started with
I just picture a bunch.
Facebook. What can I say?
I picture just a bunch of little I don't know, just robo people just going must send Facebook friend request. Must send Facebook. I don't know. Sorry.
She's tired.
I'm so tired. It's been a long day. Anyways.
Yikes. Any final thoughts before
Jacqueline says something that she might regret? Deprivation.
About children's fitting rooms by chance?
Stop. Okay, good night.
Okay, wait, real quick. Dave O'Brien today on the broadcast.
Before, but my mic has a clamp on it, so that way we can bring it wherever. Josh literally told me, he goes, "Yo, we're bringing this into a fitting room and we're recording an episode in there." I'm like, okay. You guys all from my computer around 10 a.m. on a Tuesday.
I'll be
definitely us in a fitting room. We're ready to record.
But real quick, I think Dave O'Brien today said something worse than Jacqueline did on the show.
Boy.
He told Jerry Remy that he will pay him to go into the crowd and grab a 7-year-old. Obviously, more followed that, but like with selective hearing, kind of like we did with what Jacqueline said during the radio show.
Yeah, that was very selective.
And he did have a very uncomfortable pause after and go grab a 7-year-old. I was like, Dave,
He probably realized
be
what
better.
he said.
Whoa.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Shit. All right, my laptop's at 5%, so we need to wrap this up.
Good
So
night,
any
Bruins.
last thoughts?
Goodbye.
Is that it? All right.
Jack,
That'll do it
outro music for us.
That'll do it for this edition of Massholes with Mike's. For Jeremy and Jacqueline, this is Jordan. Have a good rest of your night, guys.
This has been Massholes with Mike's.